There's just no way. I mean, I paid $200,000 for that car just a couple years ago.
Let's see how rich you are compared to the rest of the world.
So, my husband and I are $60,000 in debt.
Today we're going to be looking at a guy who overpaid for his Corvette, how rich we really are, and $50,000 of credit card debt. If you're new here, I'm Mike, and here we talk about money, cars, avoiding debt, and keeping more of your paycheck. If that sounds good, hit that like and subscribe button and drop a comment.
I just put an inquiry on your Apple Buys car site. I got a 23 C8 Corvette Z06. You guys are only offering me $93,000. I paid $200,000 for this car. I don't think that could be right.
Let me pull that up in our system here. Looks like torch red, 20,000 miles on it. Is that one accurate?
Yep, that's me.
You know, if that car is in absolutely flawless condition, I think 93 might be all the money for that thing actually in the current market.
There's just no way. I mean, I paid $200,000 for that car just a couple years ago. I still owe $130,000 on the thing.
Unfortunately, it kind of sounds like you might have bought it when the market was really hot on it. I'd assume you had to have bought it over sticker.
Yeah, sticker was $170. I paid quite a bit over sticker, actually.
I can't imagine wanting a car so bad I'd pay over the sticker price for it. Cars are expensive enough right now, and people are willing to pay even more just to be one of the first to drive it. I would much rather wait a few months if I was going to buy.
I'm looking at some other ones. I mean, just to give you a little reference of where the market's at right now. Here's another 23, 19,000 miles on it for $94,000. Here's a very low trim brand new car, a 25 for $103, but it's obviously a low trim. So with you having around 20,000 miles on there, the market is in the high 90s, low hundreds for me to be able to sell it at. I got to make money on some of these units. So I've got to be in that low 90 percentile for this to make any sense for us to go forward with.
How does the market get so low on a vehicle like this?
Well, the issue with Corvettes, I absolutely love Corvettes, so I'm not trying to say anything negative about them. They're fantastic cars.
How can you not know the price was going to plummet? Almost every single car drops in value the second you drive it off the lot, and on top of that, he overpaid. $100,000 just thrown away, all because you didn't want to wait a few months.
They build too many of them, and dealers get greedy the second that they come out. Is the new hot model, and they're obviously low on the production numbers because they just started hitting the production lines, and dealers ask all the money in the world for them, and give it 6-8 months as Chevy starts catching up with the orders made for this car, and then all of a sudden people can't afford their $150,000 car, so they have to cut MSRPs, and then you can buy a new car for a reasonable cost, which means the used market has to come down to follow that, because who's going to buy a used car for the same price as a new one?
That just really sucks for me. Well, maybe I'd look to come in and maybe I can flip it into a lease for a bigger truck or something. I'm looking to tow a camper. We just bought a camper for the family, and the Corvette just doesn't really make sense.
But yeah, we can look into leasing something. How big's the camper? What?
He's just realizing he lost a lot of money, and what does he want? Another vehicle. If you could afford to pay for that $200,000 Corvette, why wouldn't you find a nice used truck and pay for it cash? Save yourself a little bit of money. A Corvette, a camper, now he needs a truck to tow the camper. This guy likes to spend.
Truck you looking for here?
I'm thinking I'm going to need a 350. I got a pretty big camper for the family.
Okay. If we were to look into like a limited F350 sticker at like $103,000 or something like that, if you were to flip $30,000 of negative into like a 36-month lease, about, I think that's that 13,000 miles a year, it looks like your monthly lease payment would be just over $3,000 a month.
That's fine. That's not what I'm paying for the Corvette right now anyhow, so I'm not too worried about that.
If you wanted to come in and bring your C8 in, I can get my eyes on that C8. If it's absolutely flawless, maybe I can give another $1,000 for it. We'll have to see when it's here, and you can check out some of these trucks and see where your head's at.
That'd be great.
Sounds great. See you then.
Now he'll be paying $3,000 a month just to tow his camper. $100,000 gone over the course of that lease. It's such a waste. Just because somebody makes a lot of money doesn't mean they're good managing it. The income goes up and so does the spending.
Let's see how rich you are compared to the rest of the world. What percentage of the world are you richer than if you have $500,000? If you had $500,000 in your bank/savings account, I think that you're in the top 1%. Okay, so you're richer than 99% of the world. This includes net worth, cash, bank savings, investments, home equity, minus your debts. What about $100,000? Well, if that's top 1%, I would assume that you're $100,000 in your account. Yes, so this is all in your account, your property, minus any loans or anything that you have. I'm going to say you're in like the 70th percentile. 70th? 75th? $100,000? Incorrect. 92% of the world you're richer than. Oh, really?
This is something I learned in my early 20s. I didn't have much money, pretty close to broke, but saved up enough to go on a vacation in Cuba. Paid cash. Seeing how they lived made me realize just how rich we really are. You may not make a lot of money, but it's more than most people in the world.
Damn. What about $50,000? Half of 100K. $50,000? I'm going to say 75th percentile. 87%. Wow. So if you have a few $1,000, you're doing really well. Just you wait, my friend. What about $10,000? 75th percentile. Okay. This one you overshot a little bit. You're richer than 68% of people. $4,210. 50th percentile. Yes, that was a pretty exact number. You're richer than 50% of the world. That's the global median. If you have $4,210 net worth, you're richer than 50% of the world. That's nuts.
$4,210 and you are richer than 50% of the people in the world. Those numbers should make us all feel a little bit better about ourselves. I'm sure many people consider themselves broke. Not much saved for the future, but look at the bigger picture. We're doing pretty good. We might not feel rich, but we are.
I can't stand it when I see kids that are making 70 grand a year spending $28 for lunch. I mean, that's just stupid. It's just, think about that in the context of that being put into an index and making 8 to 10% a year for the next 50 years. The best test, I do with my kids' friends too, go into a closet, go into your closet and look at how much shit you have you don't wear. Because you either bought it because you thought you were going to wear it and never wore it or wore it once, and you end up wearing 20% of your portfolio all of the time and 80% you pissed away. I mean, that's really stupid. And so for a young person, a young woman or man, don't do that.
I know people that do this, willing to spend a lot of money eating out or ordering Uber Eats while they're at work. You're there to earn money and you just lost an hour or two pay for a Big Mac combo. Clothes is the same thing. Most are only worn once or twice and then they sit in the closet until they don't fit anymore.
So, my husband and I are $60,000 in debt. Okay.
Part of the problem. You are.
Let me explain how we got here. In June of 2022, we had a good amount of savings and decided that our home that we've been living in for a couple years just needed some maintenance and some upgrades. You can see behind me, we live in like a very normal house, but there were some things like on the outside where our stucco was falling off, so we needed to have that repaired. We had our house painted, we upgraded our bathroom a little bit, and also decided to pay off my husband's private student loan because the interest is not great. And so we had plenty of savings and we decided to just drain those bad boys. We both had really stable jobs.
There are not that many stable jobs out there. I found that out a few times, from layoffs to bad employers to companies closing. You never know what's down the road. If you need to do repairs or upgrades, why not start with one and save for the next? You don't need to do it all at once.
We would be able to squirrel away some money over time and build back up our savings again. 2 weeks later, unexpectedly, I was laid off from my job. And I'm the breadwinner of our household, so it did not go well. I was unemployed for about 7 months. Thank goodness I had social media to keep us afloat for a little bit, but here's the deal. We had to put a lot of stuff on credit card to be able to keep ourselves afloat. So anything that could go on a credit card went on a credit card. And that allowed my husband's income to pay for our mortgage, our car payments, our daycare, things like that. But everything else went on a credit card. We cut back as much as we could, but there's still a lot of expenses. We finally decided to do a debt consolidation loan, and it's about $65,000.
I would bet that most of the debt wasn't for necessities. That would be from living the same lifestyle you had when you were working. There is no way you can rack up that much debt in that short of time if you weren't overspending or irresponsible.
And we're going to try and pay it off. We did a 5-year loan plan, but we're going to try and pay it off in the next 2 years if I can finally get that OnlyFans account going. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do OnlyFans, but that's our goal. Our kids gets out of daycare this year. We've spent $36,000 a year on daycare. So one of them graduates this year. The other one goes to VPK. So that'll save us a little bit of money. Our hopes are that we're able to put a lot of what we were already paying for daycare towards this loan and get it paid off sooner than planned. But your girl loves to shop, so I'm going to have to do some shit to keep myself accountable to this. So I'm coming on the internet and telling you what my deepest, darkest secret.
$36,000 a year on daycare. That is $3,000 a month. That is ridiculous. She must have had a great income because for most people, it wouldn't make sense to work at that point. You could just stay home and save all that money. I'm going to end the video here and ask you to hit that like and subscribe button. Drop a comment below. I will see you in the next one. Bye.